Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello, good morning, and welcome back to the channel where you join me bright and early, although on a fairly wet and dreary British winter's morning. But nonetheless, I have come out in the AMG GT R to visit Mercedes-Benz Brentford, where you may remember in the past I both came to order and then collect this car, as well as picking up my sister's Mercedes-Benz C200 Cabriolet. Well, today I'm back at the dealership because I can finally announce that I am ordering an AMG G63, a G Wagon Shmeemobile, is going to be joining the garage. It's been a long time coming. I have not hidden how much I love the new G63, and today I'm here to go over the specification. I'll tell you all the options that I'm ordering. We'll go through the details, roughly when it's going to be coming and what color it's going to be. But I'm very excited for this one, an SUV joining the garage. So let's head inside, where they very kindly got a car that we can take a look around. But I'm buzzing. It's G63 time. The weather today is atrocious, grey, grim and wet, and we've got the noise of the morning rush hour traffic, but this is what I have come to see. The dealer demonstrator G63 from AMG, parked here inside the customer handover bay so that I can show you guys around the car and talk about it in terms of the options that I'm going for. But I tell you what's crazy is that it's now been over a year since I came down to collect the GT R, 15 months in fact, since that day that I am never going to forget, joined by Nico Rosberg to pull back the covers Formula 1 car style for you guys, and then to take the car out for its first ever drive over to Brooklands for Nico to show me in another GTR how to drive it properly. And since that day I've done almost 20,000 miles now in mine, but I'm back here today for my second AMG, the G63. So let's come in then and take a proper look at this car, where it is much warmer and drier here inside the showroom. This thing is a beast. Now in the UK, the G63 actually comes with a very high specification as standard. You have the G63 Premium, as they call it, in terms of the technology options and some of the trim levels. You're basically just choosing colours, some extra parts of the trim and a few tech options. So for example, as standard, you have the 360-degree cameras, which help with parking on the door mirrors, the front and at the rear. You also have inside, and I do have the key so we can look at this in more detail, the widescreen cockpit, so the dual digital displays that you have for the dashboard. But this car, I would say, is very much G63 spec. This is painted in Obsidian Black, which is actually going to be the colour that I order, but there's more to that story coming later on in this video. It's got what's called the night pack fitted. Now I thought a lot about this, because if I was going to go with a dark colour, like the Mystic Blue they make, which is a colour I particularly like, the night pack would cancel out some of the silver parts. So by having the night pack, you get these bumper inserts here, you get the trim strips that run around the outside, you get the wheels all in black as opposed to silver, along with a few other small touches. And on a dark colour, it's actually quite nice to have those silver, but this will tie into what's coming later on, because I wasn't entirely sure about this wheel design. I talked about it with the AMG GT R having the silver rim, but more on that in a moment. So the colour is 197 Obsidian Black. It's the metallic black as opposed to the flat black, which is how my GTR started, which is actually wrapped in yellow as opposed to being painted the 040 black. So it's going to be this colour. I'm thinking to add the night pack, which means it would come with these wheels, the RG4 wheels, the 22-inch wheels. The other option would be the RG5, the silver ones, but almost certainly going to go with the night pack because it will tie in, as I said, to what's coming in a moment. Visually on the exterior, not too much to touch on. You also get the wheel cover with that. The night pack changes this surround around the spare tyre on the back. That would otherwise be chrome all the way around the outside, but still with the black for the rear of it. But the exterior, very much G-Wagon as you expect a G-Wagon to look. That's the thing about this new car. It has the ruggedized looks of the old models, of the history of the G-Wagon, but it has a much more dynamic driving experience, much more technology at play. And if I just grab the key, my favorite thing, and I'm sorry for showing you this all the time, is this. The clicks, the mechanical sounds, the mechanical feel of the doors, the way they open. It's just so cool, yet you have an interior that is like an S-Class. It has lots of technology, lots of luxury. Now this is the standard interior. I'm actually going to go for the upgrade interior, which give you seats with diamond quilting on the backrest and the base, and just slightly more refinement to the materials, the Napa leather on the inside, but still with the black, because I think black is basically the right colour for the G Wagon. Now as standard, you get the piano black style trim, the gloss black trim pieces you can see all around on the grab handle, around the central console. You'll always have the silver here, but I'm going to swap and upgrade that to the AMG carbon fibre, the satin carbon fibre for the inlays and all the finishes around the inside of the car. Just because I love carbon fibre and I think it looks awesome, so I'd be crazy not to do it. Another standard thing is having the AMG Performance steering wheel. This gives you all the controls and buttons. I'll go around the other side in a moment, but having that in leather is the standard on the G. Just nice equipment levels from the off. The heated electric memory seats as well, all standard. The Burmester sound system, again, included from the off. Now if I go round to the other side of the car, just to take a seat inside, I should mention also the night pack tints the lights, so you get tinted indicator lamps there on the front corners, which give you a great view when you're sat inside the car. They also tint the rear tail lights, just quickly to show you that. You get those tinted slightly less bright red than they would otherwise be. But if we come and take a step inside the car here for a moment, again as standard, you get all the G mode and the locking differentials, so these controls here, which I got to experience what this car was actually capable of when I was down at the Mercedes press launch. I've driven the car twice before, both times off-road. Both times I've been blown away by its impressive capabilities. We've got a keyless system, so I will press on here just to bring it into life so you can see. Oh yes, ambient lighting. So you get the 64 different colours you can have for the ambient lighting on the upper sections and on the lower sections, all of which can be configured, which I love. It just adds a touch of class, and I think there's something really cool about the interior of a Mercedes-Benz at the moment. The interiors are lovely, lovely places to be. Things like the air vents that actually illuminate in blue or red as you change the temperature controls. Small settings and things you can just adjust and adapt to your personal tastes. And then you have these touch controls on the steering wheels that literally the left side controls the left screen and the right side here controls the driver's dashboard, and you can configure again this exactly basically how you want everything to appear, changing the dashboard design, bringing up your navigation, your trip, even AMG performance information in the G63, so your different driving modes, and you have a lot of driving modes in here, controlled through the toggle down there. So there's a lot of practicality. In fact, this will basically be the only practical car that joins my garage at all. All of the others have bucket seats, not comfortable seats, and they all have a wing on the back, whereas this has, well, a 5-seat configuration, a lot of luggage space behind that, and many comfort and convenience features. For example, we've got a nice sunroof up above, all of the screens and just functionality that you can use. Now one more press of this fully wakes it up, and then a third press just to turn it off, because I would like to come through and show you what is underneath the bonnet, the engine bay of the G63. Now this car actually, well, effectively shares an engine with the AMG GT R, the 4-litre bi-turbo V8 from AMG in a Falterback, built with their one-man, one-engine philosophy. You get the signature of the man or woman responsible for assembling the engine at the factory. You've got 585 horsepower and 850 newton meters of torque. That hooks up to a 9-speed AMG speed shift gearbox. Of course, you've got 4-wheel drive, and that means that this thing, despite its weight, can go 0 to 62 miles an hour or 100 kilometers an hour in just 4.5 seconds. That's moderately crazy, and as standard it will go on to a top speed of 220 kilometers an hour, which is 136 miles per hour, or as I will do, you can add the AMG drivers package, which raises that from 220 up to 240, so up to 149 miles per hour. And it also comes with an experience with AMG as well, an opportunity to drive the car at one of the test centres, Brooklands here in the UK, for example. And I just like how you have this styling, this distinct G-Wagon styling. The headlights have been updated. These are multi-beam LED headlights, and in the centre you have that new AMG style, the Panamericana front grille with those vertical slats. Do I just close this back down? It's quite a significant piece of that bonnet there at the front. It has the aggression, the beefed up looks. Of course, the G63 has more aggression to the lower bumpers than the G350, the diesel variant that's also on sale, but for me it's G63 all the way. And thinking about the lower section, this is one other part that comes with the night pack, having this in black as opposed to, I think it would normally be grey or silver. So really it just stealths the car out a little bit having that, and it's going to tie in a lot, as I keep saying, to the colour color I'm going for, but just to explore a bit more, one other option that I'm going for, in the rear, you add the rear side bags as an option. Not a particularly expensive option, but I think compulsory, every safety option should always be ticked where possible. But just nice things like the AMG door sills, even having the continuation of the styling, the sound system, and the air vents that all just look very, very nice throughout the car. And if we come around towards the back itself, you can see that we do have decent levels of practicality back here. You have a folding rear seat as standard, you have the cover, the parcel shelf cover, to hide away your luggage that's back there. And you also, importantly for me, have that, the towing eye. Now that's a big part of what I intend to do with this car. How cool is it going to be to use the G63 to get my trailer license, to go out and get the license that you need, which actually was a rule that changed just before I started driving when I was 17, the legal age here in the UK. To use one of these to tow a trailer and have behind me, let's say the Senna or the GT, to take them to tracks and events around Europe without clocking up the miles and being able to do it myself. I just think it's going to be something different and really quite fun. So that's a big appeal about the car to me. And I've talked about that an awful lot in my various test drives with the G63 before now, about how I would love to do that in the future. But let's move on now to talk about the color. So I said I'm going to order it in this color, Obsidian Black. Basically, that's the best standard color if you're thinking about changing it. And when I say changing it, many of you will know that in the past I've wrapped cars, the AMG GT R, but you might also have seen my videos with Topaz, where we've talked about the new Topaz Skin. So I'm going to do a Topaz Skin on the G63, and at the moment, I think I'm going to do it MSO Cerulean Blue, the same color as my McLaren Senna, the bright metallic blue, because this in bright blue, maybe with some navy accents to match the navy carbon on the Senna. Excuse me if it's a bit nerdy, but I think that would be pretty cool. So I'm going to give it a go, and after all, it is just a skin on top. It is peelable, it is removable, it's not a full paint job. So we can do the G63, protect the black paint underneath, and make it look like a matching pair with the Senna. So that's what's going to happen. I think, unless I change my mind between now and then, but it will look roughly like this at collection day, at the time it arrives. Now, I believe it's quite a long wait list to actually get the G63. So when is mine going to come? Well, fingers crossed, somewhere at the early end of summer, 6 months or so, maybe midsummer. We will have to see what happens. I've got some big plans myself this year in terms of when I'm going to be away. So I'll do everything I can to push as much as possible, to get the car as early as possible, and hopefully, fingers crossed again, we can do some cool stuff with Mercedes, maybe go to Graz, to the factory where the G Wagons are built, maybe experience, do another test drive just to remind what it's like and have a better think about it. But the G63 is going to be arriving. It has been a very, very long time coming, and I know I've talked about it an awful lot in recent months, but I cannot wait. Now, I've just remembered one other option on the order form, the brake calipers, which on this car you will spot are red. Given that I intend the car to end up blue or another color, I'm going to opt to have those in silver calipers behind the dark graphite, satin graphite wheels, which will also match with the Senna as well, which also has silver calipers. So the small details all potentially coming together. Around the front, you have the adaptive cruise control sensor. You can spot the camera there that I mentioned earlier for the 360-degree surround view. But basically, it has the looks of a G-Wagon, the driving dynamics of a modern SUV, the power of the AMG V8, the grunt and grumble that it has, and side exit exhaust, and everything about it is just cool. So a G-Wagon is coming, it's going to arrive. It's been, like I said, a very, very long time coming for me on the channel. I think a lot of you guys probably saw that one of these might arrive. My first ever SUV, actually, that I'll have owned and used. I can't wait for what I've got planned, and believe me, there are a lot of things planned. Anyway, I better go and sort out the final parts of the paperwork, get it all locked in, all done, and I'll come back to you in the not too distant future with more information as and when I have it. So thank you very much for watching, guys. I appreciate your support as always. I'll be sure to catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.